Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. In a world where everyone wants a personal experience with the brands they love, our mission is to drive customer loyalty and lifetime value through personalization. And our ambition is to do these at humanly impossible speeds in milliseconds and deliver great experiences. For the past 9.5 years, we've been enabling world's leading fashion, cosmetics, and retail brands deliver more personalized interactions with their customers. With our integrated enterprise personalization platform, we enable them to use all of their resources to deliver them. To date, we have influenced more than $100 billion of revenue. Starting in 2010, perhaps we were a bit early in the game. However, we believe a time to adopt personalization is actually now. Thanks to these product brands out there that people are interacting multiple times a day, consumers got to expect a very high level of personalization. They want products to come to them. They want the Monday playlist to have the right mood level setting. They want the movies that they've never seen in their life before, but they would actually love to watch to come to them. And this is setting a very high level of expectations. And personalization in that sense is actually here. According to Gartner, 9 out of 10 businesses out there do some sort of personalization. And in a recent study that's been published by McKinsey, personalization is expected to add up to $3 trillion of new value. And half of that value will be actually coming from retail, CPG, and travel brands. And going back one slide, McKinsey also believed that companies that will actually be successful in this journey will be those who can actually leverage data to be able to serve their customers. And the one challenge that they're actually identifying in this formula is ability of CMOs, CIOs, CTOs to come together and be able to deliver a consistent strategy across. When we look at the retail market, 20 top-level group companies actually capture about 98% of profits. And this top 20 group companies have been pretty stable over the past years. When you look at the top 3 alone, Inditex, Nike, and LVMH, companies that are actually very much focused on the customer experiences that they deliver, over the past 10 years, they've actually doubled their economic profits. So, and the last point to prove the market is coming is a very subjective one for me. This year, in February, we were in Shop Talk in Las Vegas. We were invited alongside Amazon and a couple other retailers to present on the topic of personalization and AI. The room was packed to the gills. There were people standing, tweeting out from the hallways, and I didn't even predict that level of demand. And then after the event, one of the other things that we've seen, compared to the previous year, we have actually doubled the incoming interest that was coming to our stand, and in terms of the opportunities that we have captured in there. And notably, one more thing had changed. The people who were coming to our stage were much more senior than the year before, which actually proved that companies are now taking personalization initiatives at the top level, and they're actually dedicating a budget to it. And working with every single one of those brands is actually a big privilege for us. So let's take a look at today's reality. When looking at our customers' data, when we see a variance between 1% and 5% of conversion rates, one of the other metrics actually really captured our attention. 84% of shoppers are actually shoppers that only purchase once and never again. These brands are somehow failing to make a connection with their customers. They're somehow not getting those customers back. And that's a very important number, because when you're only managing to get a tiny fraction of your traffic to purchase, and when they never purchase again from your brand, there is something being lost in there. And it's not only us saying that. This is a quote by Noam Paransky, who was a VP at the time when he made this comment. He's a senior VP at Gap, who is not a Qubit customer. This is actually a quote that I've found in there. But ultimately, what he's highlighting is the difference between one and done shopper and a repeat purchaser is about 10x. There's 10x more value for customers that you can actually bring back. Another quote from Ian at LVMH, who is actually a customer. And what he's actually pointing out is that customers of theirs are actually expecting the same level of personalization, same level of attention when it comes to online experiences. And one of the key things that are not being done are companies actually delivering these experiences online and giving that personal touch, where the goal is not just converting somebody, where the goal is actually delivering a loyalty, a trust relationship that will actually eventually turn into a conversion. So what is our vision of personalization? The formula is very simple. You take the right person at the right time and place and give them the right message and offer and product. And the premise is to make sure to do this with the goal of increasing loyalty and trust with your customers. But saying it is much easier than actually doing it. When it comes to doing it, it needs to be highly effective and highly scalable at the same time. Because otherwise, this is not going to be able to deliver the level of efficiency that online brands get to actually expect. So when we look at all the companies we work with, we mainly work with $50 million of online revenue brands and in the enterprise space. We offer them our integrated enterprise personalization platform, and we actually integrate with all these different systems. And every single box in this graph actually is equivalent of a person or of a data silo in a given organization. Our job is to make sure that not only we bring data from every single one of these different silos, but also bring the heads of those people who are actually leading those groups together to be able to deliver that efficient, largely effective personalization. So let me give you a couple of examples from this. By combining customer behavior, customer purchase data, what they're browsing on the site, with data from ERP systems, we're actually able to predict what products somebody is really interested in and what's the status of that product. If there's too much momentum actually trying to deliver, is that product running out? Making sure by highlighting that, we're actually making sure to give every customer an independent and individually relevant new piece of information. Another one is where we actually promote specific products to increase lifetime value. And one can actually look at this a very simple product recommendations example. However, it is not just about showing somebody what's the complementary product, but it's also taking the perspective of the merchandiser who wants to actually make sure his high-margin products get out first. And lastly, I want to give you an example from cosmetics where we actually see the massive opportunities of repeat purchasing by combining customer purchase behavior with a life cycle of a given product. We're able to predict who's about to run out of what product and therefore give them the necessary nudges and make sure a continuity of purchase happens. And we're not only doing that on the web, we're also doing it in channels, push channels like email and various other ones. So every enterprise is different. Every enterprise wants to adopt personalization, and there's actually a path to personalization. It starts with optimization, site-wide changes that actually give you the generic uplift, to segmented personalization, which actually delivers a more targeted campaigns, targeted personalization to different groups, to actually integrated native one-to-one personalizations. And at Qubit, we have actually packaged our product to make sure that we can actually take advantage of this and take enterprises through their journey. And lastly, I want to leave you with this one piece of thought. Looking at all of our data, we have found that for a $500 million online retail brand, moving 1% of that 85% one-and-done shoppers into a consecutive purchase actually generates $10 million of new revenue opportunity. And 85% is a very high number. Imagine what can be done in that space. Thank you very much.